Have you ever wondered why some people finally change their life while others stay stuck for years even though they want it just as badly? Most people think the answer is motivation. They wait for a perfect morning, a burst of willpower, or a sudden new mindset. But motivation is loud and fragile. Systems are quiet, and they last. Today's story is about a young man named Ren and the one tiny rule that pulled him out of a loop he couldn't escape. Ren wasn't lazy in the way people like to judge. He showed up to work, he paid his bills. He looked normal from the outside. But inside, he felt like he was living two lives. At night, he imagined a version of himself who was disciplined, fit, focused, financially steady, proud of his own habits. He pictured morning runs, books finished, projects built. But in the morning, that version disappeared. Ren would wake up, look at the time, and feel the same familiar weight. Not just tiredness, disappointment. He kept telling himself, I know what to do, so why can't I do it? That question followed him everywhere. And over time, it turned into a belief. Maybe I'm just not the kind of person who changes. One Sunday night, after another weekend disappeared into scrolling and starting tomorrow, Ren snapped. Not in a dramatic way, quietly, like something inside him finally got tired of excuses. He grabbed a notebook and wrote a plan that looked heroic on paper. Starting Monday, run 4 kilometers every morning, read 40 pages a day, work on his business idea for 2.5 hours. No excuses. He stared at the page and felt that rush people confuse with transformation. It wasn't discipline yet, it was emotion. But it felt like the beginning. Monday morning, he did it. He ran, he read, he worked. He finished the day exhausted but proud, like he had wrestled his life back into his hands. Tuesday, he did it again. Harder. Legs aching. Focus slipping. But he pushed through anyway. He told himself, this is it. I'm finally becoming that guy. And that's the moment the trap usually closes. Right when you start believing the hard part is over. Wednesday morning, Ren woke up sore and stared at his running shoes. They were just shoes. But his brain treated them like a warning. 4 kilometers, 40 pages, 2.5 hours. What felt inspiring on Sunday now felt impossible on Wednesday. He sat on the edge of the bed and made a deal with himself. I'll rest today and go even harder tomorrow. He skipped the run, then reading became later. Work became after dinner. Later didn't come. By the end of the week, Ren was back on the couch, phone in hand, watching other people live while he avoided his own life. And the worst part wasn't the missed workout. It was the shame. Not, I failed today. More like, I always do this. That thought is poison. Because once you believe you always fail, quitting feels logical. Ren blamed his character. He told himself he had no discipline, no willpower, no special trait successful people had. But the real problem wasn't his personality, it was his strategy. Ren was using motivation like fuel, and motivation burns fast. It can start you, but it can't carry you through soreness, boredom, stress, bad sleep, or a messy week. It disappears the moment life gets real. Ren didn't need more hype. He needed a system that would still work on his worst days, not just his best. Ren went looking for something real. Not another quote, not another checklist, not another video yelling at him to grind harder. He wanted a method he could follow when he felt tired, unmotivated, and behind. That's how he ended up at a quiet garden near the edge of the city, meeting an older teacher people called Master Sogen. Ren didn't try to sound impressive. He told the truth. I start strong, and then I quit. I keep promising myself I'll change, and then I don't. I think I have no discipline. Master Sogen listened without judging him. Then he said something Ren didn't expect. Your problem isn't weakness. Your goals are too big for your current state. Ren wanted to argue, but he couldn't. He knew it was true. He kept trying to act like a perfect version of himself. Overnight, Master Sogen placed a small wooden token in Ren's palm and said, "Forget 4 kilometers." Ren frowned. Then what do I do? Master Sogen said, "1 promise, every day." Ren leaned in, expecting something intense. Instead, the master said, "Every morning put on your running shoes and step outside your front door. That's it. You can walk right back in." Ren almost laughed. It sounded too small to matter. But he agreed, because it was too easy to refuse. The next morning, shoes on, door open, step outside, less than a minute, no big decision, no dramatic speech, no battle in his head. In standing there, Ren realized something. The hardest part was already over. He'd started. So, he walked a little. The next day, he did the same thing. Shoes, door, outside. A few days later, he walked farther without thinking. One morning, he told himself, "I'll jog for 7 minutes." Just 7. 7 became 10. 10 became a short loop. But then came the real test. One rainy morning, Ren woke up drained. Bad sleep, bad mood. Everything in him wanted to skip. Old Ren would have negotiated, postponed, and disappeared for a week. This time, the rule was so small he couldn't argue with it. Shoes on, door, outside. He stepped into the cold air and thought, "I can go back in right now." And he almost did. But he stood there long enough for the moment to pass. Then he walked. Not because he felt motivated, because he had already started. That was the point. The hardest part of any habit isn't the habit, it's the start. When a task feels huge, your brain pushes you toward relief instead of progress. That's why people scroll. That's why they say, "Tomorrow." The master didn't demand a run, he demanded a start. Weeks passed, then months. And the shoe habit quietly became a running habit. Ren didn't become perfect, he became consistent. And that changed everything. Then he applied the same system to reading. Instead of 40 pages, he committed to 1 paragraph. 1 paragraph was so small it felt silly, but it kept the chain alive. And once he started, he often kept going. He applied it to work too. Instead of 2.5 hours or nothing, he set a start rule. Open the laptop and do 1 small task. 1 outline, 1 email. Starting created momentum. Momentum created results. Over time, his room got cleaner. His body got stronger. His confidence came back. Not because life got easier, because he trusted himself again. Ren returned to Master Sogen and said, "I thought I needed discipline." Master Sogen smiled. Discipline is built, not found. Big success is small effort repeated daily. Improve by just 1% each day, and the change becomes impossible to ignore. Ren finally understood. He wasn't failing because he was broken. He was failing because he kept trying to leap when he needed to learn how to step. Don't try to be a hero for 1 day. Be consistent for a lifetime. Start so small you can't say no, and let the results compound. If this story helped you, share it with a friend who needs a fresh start, and subscribe for more stories that build real discipline. What's your 1 tiny step you can do tomorrow morning?